Hi everybody, Gordon Firemark here with another of your questions and my answers about entertainment law. David asks, is 3 to 4% royalty at all possible for a first-time original writer after a $500 million movie premiere? Thanks. Not usually referred to as a royalty, David, but writers do generally get some kind of back-end or contingent compensation in their deal. Usually, this is defined as the net profits. And somewhere between 2 to 5% is pretty typical, even for brand new writers. But what's really crucial is the definition of the net profit. That is, when you look at the formula for what is net, that's gross receipts less certain expenses, brings you to the net. So the key is the identification of which expenses are allowed to be deducted, and that's a very heavily negotiated provision. Most studios and production companies and distributors actually have different levels of net profit definitions depending on the bargaining power of the parties in the deal and so on. Now, a new writer probably doesn't do very well getting the A-list top-line net profits definition, but depending on your bargaining power, you can get a very favorable or a very unfavorable definition. So it's often useful to ask for what's called a favored nation's net profits definition, which means that if anybody else on the picture gets a more favorable definition than you've negotiated, then you get the benefit of their successful negotiations to get that better deal. But again, it's going to depend on whether you have the bargaining power to get that. If you've got very strong bargaining power, you could actually get a participation that's based on the gross receipts directly with no deductions. And finally, there's another way that writers sometimes get compensated when their movies are a success, and that's through box office bonuses instead of that contingent compensation, net profits. The box office bonuses typically pay a certain flat figure amount when and if the movie achieves certain milestones. So, for example, when the box office receipts hit $250 million, you might get another check for $50,000 and so on. Now, this usually does have a ceiling, so it stops eventually, but that's another way to maybe get some back-end participation. So that's the answer. Keep those questions coming, and I'll look forward to your next one. Thanks.